see me out here dressed like the Nook of the North. Hey, everybody. It's me, Infamous Kiki, out here getting my walk on. I have no electricity in my house, so therefore I'm out here walking. I'm normally at the gym around this time. Y'all see me up here bundled up like the Nook of the North because that's what my grandmother used to tell me because it is chilly outside. So I just decided to get my stroll on. I hope y'all can hear me. I hope the feedback or the wind isn't too bad or me moving around and crunching. But yeah, I don't have any electricity in my house. I don't know what happened, but we got a thing saying a power outage. So normally I'll do these videos before I go to the gym, but since no electricity, no gym. So I'm out here walking. So just thought I had something on my mind. We have a conversation here. Welcome to my channel. Please like, share, subscribe, save, pass on, or whatever. Good morning, everybody. Monday morning. Did y'all have a good Thanksgiving? Y'all have a good weekend? Y'all ain't too hungover, are y'all? Please don't be too hungover. Please don't. But yeah, I'm just out here walking. I may stop a little bit and look around. Like if y'all can look around, wait, let me show y'all. This is where I live, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's where I live. Um, and we have a lake, we have a park, we have a gym, we have several parks, benches, all that. So welcome. Um, we're gonna talk about again. I'm trying to get a little bit far away from these homes because I don't want to be talking and echoing. Like I said, nobody in my neighborhood has electricity. So, most people are going to work. Um, I'm supposed to work. I know I work from home, but again, I can't work from home when I have a computer, but I can't charge it. So, because I have no electricity. Now, I do have a generator, but my kids wore down my generator. So I can't even plug in anything. I can charge my phone, and that's about it because my generator is like on 49%. Um, the drive from home to my vacation home, my kids was on the generator charging their devices. So, and I didn't have a chance to charge my generator, and that's on me. But anyway, y'all don't want to hear about that. We're going to talk about what we're talking about today. Like I said, I'm trying to get away from these homes so I can get out here and really discuss. What we're talking about today is everybody's not for everybody. Now, let me slow down a little bit. Y'all may hear a car or two go by, or y'all might hear some construction because there's construction on here. I do apologize, but you know how it is out here. So I'm try to hold the microphone while I go. We're not for everybody. What do I mean by that? Lord have mercy. For those of you single men and women, gay or straight, black, white, and other, from all the way around the world or just in Texas, there's a notion I've noticed today while dating. Again, if y'all don't know about me, I was in a 5-year relationship, but my relationship ended. So I took some time off. My mom died. My mom passed away in April. And I took some time off to process the grief of my mother dying. Then we moved, took time for that. And so after, getting over my relationship, dealing with that, dealing with the grief of my mother. So now I'm ready to enter back into the dating scene. So I have been on dating apps. I've been on dating apps before. I heard some noises, y'all. I've been on dating apps before. I met my ex on Tinder. We were together for 5 years. And I had other exes that I've met on Tinder, Bumble, POF, Adult Friend Finder before it became all smutty. I did do a video about Ashley Madison. That's the cheating app for married folks. Y'all go take a look at that video. It's in my playlist. I just uploaded that video yesterday while I went live. So if y'all want to know anything about dating apps, I'm your person. I am single. I am on dating apps currently. And I haven't been on dating apps, of course, in 5 years. So things have decidedly changed in the dating scene. Now, these days, we have like red pill, pink pill, bullshit that I never even heard of, which I'm going to do videos about. We have people who are divestors, which means that they stop dating black men and they only date men of other races, which I crack up and laugh because my husband is white. My late husband is white. My kids are biracial. So I've dated white guys since I was 18 years old. So I guess that's a badge of honor now. I know black dudes who only date white women, so I guess that's the thing to get on the internet and dog black women and say I don't date black women. My uncle doesn't date black women. So what? And then you have dissenters, sometimes spelled with a C, sometimes spelled with an S, about women out there who are like, we're dissentering men away from ourselves. Bitch, what? Like, who? Like, let me be nice today. Okay, it's Monday though, but y'all, I be so annoyed by these quote unquote so called movements that I'm just like, so your life was centered around men before? Like, who raised y'all? I have theories about how my generation have basically, not me, because my kids are young. I waited until my late 30s to have children, so my kids are young. But how I feel women that are in their late 40s, early 50s have pretty much failed our whole generation of boys and girls. But I'll do a video about that much later. But because I feel like there's some things that have gone on with even friends of mine in their household with their children that I'm just like, that's gonna come to haunt you, sis. And now it's come to haunt us because we now have a whole generation of uh 20-year-old, 20 somethings, sometimes 30 somethings who are lost, who don't don't know anything, and they're following people like Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels and all these crazy people. And I'm just like, where your mamas at? Where your daddies at? I know where some of y'all daddies at, not there. But I grew up without a father. And I know a lot of generation of us grew up in divorced household, broken households, and we didn't end up this stupid. So yeah, I'm calling this generation. If you in your 20s, half of y'all is dumb when it comes to dating. Now I'm not saying when it comes to anything else, but dating, y'all dumb. So the dumb shit continues into talking to. I'm gonna let the car go by. Talking to men, and then I'm of a certain age, so I don't talk to dudes in their 20s or 30s, obviously, because I'm old as AF. So I'm talking about dudes who I would assume that would know better, that should know better, but apparently they just as dumb. Social media has uprooted and changed things in dating. So everybody says that. We all know it. Let the car go by. We all know it. So things have changed for the worse, sometimes for the better because you have more accessibility, because there's more people online, and it's a lot of times for the worse because socialization and conversation has gone by the damn wayside. People just don't know how to talk to people anymore. I don't know. I'm a talker. Y'all see, I have a YouTube channel because I like to fucking talk. I'm a talker. Hello, my name's Kiki. I like to talk. I'm a great communicator. I went to college on a mass communications journalism degree. So I like to write and I like to talk, and I'm a great communicator. I am very articulate. I know how to explain myself. I don't like men who don't. I'm sorry. I'm not into the strong silent type. Uh, I'm not into getting text messages saying W. So what I'm talking about today is that we're not for everybody. Is there's this feeling that you have to contort and bend and stretch and bend and lift and pussy pop. And I hate to use these words, your way into being into a relationship, whether you be male or female. I'm gonna tell people like there are men out there who want a certain type of women. They want a more traditional woman. They want a more feminine woman. Go get that. But not everybody wants that. Okay, that's you. That's that. I tell men all the time. What you want is what you want. If you get on your little Reddit group or your little Facebook group or your little WhatsApp group or Kick group, and y'all want to talk shit about women, that's cool. But 9 times out of 10, most of those men are doing what they talking. I know men. I have male friends. I have male relatives. Men talk a lot of shit. Men talk a lot of shit with other men, and then when they go home, they act a whole nother way with their wives. Ladies, am I right? That men would be like, man, that woman ain't doing nothing, and then they go home and they kissing their woman's ass. Y'all finna hear it from me today. Y'all finna get preached to today. Same thing about women, but men in particularly. I've heard how men talk with other men. I've been privileged to these conversations, and I just giggle because I know the truth. And I go, and I'm like, you ain't finna go home and tell your wife nothing. You ain't finna go home and tell your girl. Child, your girl will leave you in a minute. Your girl will have you will have you crying in a motherfucking corner if she would have heard the ish that said, I've been in these conversations. So good morning, GSP. I mean, am I right? Like men talk a lot of noise online and people post a lot of videos but their reality is totally different. It's totally different because that's what people do. So I tell people, whatever you hear online, don't believe the hype. Whatever you hear that men say in barbershops, in locker rooms, in Reddit groups, don't believe it has because especially if you don't know that person. You don't know what these people get online and they make all kinds of comments on my page. And honey, these men may not have ain't had no peace since P had them. So I tell people, you know, and the same thing goes for any other stranger. Like people can say whatever they want to say in comments and in chat rooms because they're anonymous. And so you don't know what kind of situation that they have in my home. Yes, GSP says my ex acted tough. He literally was in the corner crying like a little girl when I went to leave. Right, right. So when people make comments, I just kind of giggle because I'm like, I don't know what your home situation is. I don't know whether you even, you know, what your home situation is or what's going on. I don't know. So nobody knows. So you can say whatever you want to say, but it don't mean that's a reality. And a lot of times it's not. And a lot of times I tell people, "Good morning, Bobby. Good morning." And a lot of times I tell people, don't believe what people be writing or even content creators. Like I go in about content creators because a lot of times what these content creators are preaching or saying, because I know some content creators personally that are dating coaches, and they have dating coach courses and classes and books and merchandise you can buy. Honey, it's a hustle. It's a hustle. I would say don't listen to nobody on the internet if you don't know what their relationship status or their marital status is when it comes to relationships. I stay in my lane. I don't know. I'm not here to give people marriage advice. I was married. My husband's passed on. So I'm not married. So I don't know nothing about that. I don't know what it feels like to be married now. My husband died 10 years ago. So I don't know what it feels like that. I know what it feels like to be a single parent because I'm a single parent. I know what it feels like to do online dating because I online date. There are people out there, and I won't say any channel's name, that are giving advice about dating that haven't been in a relationship since Jesus walked the effing earth. So I'm like, how you gonna tell women about anything when you haven't been in a relationship in 5, 6, 7, 10 years? How you gonna be in a relationship, dude, when all you doing is having jump offs and hookups when you're really not, But I could go on and on about that, you know. Say dating. GSP says dating coach, no thanks. I can do bad all by myself. Right. Because these people, unless they're full disclosure about what they're doing, and 9 times out of 10, they're not. There are so many people who I'm like, okay, are they married? And then they be like, oh, I've been married 10 years. Hey, how the hell you gonna tell somebody? Wait a minute, let me stop this. How the hell you gonna tell somebody how to date and you've been married for 10 years with like 4 kids? I'm not saying anybody specific, but just generally speaking, if you've been married for 10, 15, 5, 10 years, and you over here telling people what they need to find in a man and what they do to get a man, we don't know what's going on in your marriage, and you're not out here dating. Dating has changed even within the past 3 to 4 years since the pandemic. Online dating has changed. So, like I said, there's people talking about dating apps. Like, have you ever been on a dating app? Oh, well, that one time in college, like 4 years ago, I tried it for a couple of months. Man, get the f out of here. Like, you don't know anything. You speak with some type of authority, but you don't know anything. You can't teach nobody how to go online and write a profile if you ain't never went online and dated and wrote a profile. And people dumb enough to fall. So I tell people, don't fall for this. Don't fall for the grift out there because the grift is hard. on social media. They're trying to get likes, they're trying to get views, they're trying to get subscribers, they're trying to get clicks, they're trying to do all of that. And a lot of them, you know, have no basis of knowledge. They have no degree in relationships, nothing. I can see if you had a degree in psychology or degree in relation, or you specialize in group in family counseling. There are people who do have channels that do specialize in family counseling, and they do coaching counseling married people. Then I can understand that. GSP said I never dated online. Sounds terrifying. GSP, it is. Just live through me, okay? It's not terrifying, like scary. It's just tedious and annoying and maddening. So, I tell people just be careful about what experience. I'm not here to give nobody dating advice because I feel like there's one size fits all for everybody, whether they be male or female or whatever perspective you're speaking from. And I'm telling people it is not. I had someone in my comments the other day talking about, well, you're a woman. I know you get lots of messages. It depends on what you're looking for. It depends on where you live and what you're looking for. That it depends on what city and state and demographic you are in. All of these factors go into whether you're going to have success. Besides your profile and your pics, of course, that's a given. You got to have a good profile. You got to write it. Got to have some cute photos up there. But it depends on what you're looking for. The women online who gets a lot of messages, I've noticed, are the women who have their, because you can have filters set where you can only get messages from certain type that you're looking for. I don't have my filters set to all. I don't do long distance. Let me tell you, your girl Kiki. Hold on. Let me move. Let me talk to you. Let me talk. Let me preach to you. I don't talk to dudes out of state or out of my area. It seems that the most of the men who do show interest in me are out of state and out of my area. That has no bearing on me whatsoever. I filter those out. There's no reason for me to talk to somebody in another state because being in a long distance relationship will not at this point in my life work for me. I have two young kids. I have two kids that are under the age of 13. I cannot take off for a weekend to go visit some dude in another state. I don't logistically have that ability. I don't have the ability to travel and go meet somebody every other weekend, every week. And then it would be unfair to have a man just come here all the time. And then if they do come here, they're not staying in my house. So they would have to come here, get a hotel room, and then I would have to make arrangements to try to get away for what, a day or two? I mean, there's no point of dating someone long distance when it's hard for me. It would be hard for me to get away from my kids because I don't have a huge resource of babysitters. You understand what I'm saying? Um, so just logistically, it's impossible for me to long distance date. Temperament wise, no. There's no way in hell I could be with somebody if I'm not hanging out with them, if I'm not, you know, enjoying their company, their physical presence in their physical company. I want to see how a person acts when we out in public, how they act at a restaurant, how they act, at their apartment, how they act, when we're going places. Talking to somebody over the phone and doing video chat like they do on 90 Day Fiance and all these and these love after lockup. I don't know how they do it because you can't really know somebody until you know somebody. You understand what I'm saying? I said that before when I used to do my love after lockup and 90 Day Fiance commentary. How do you know somebody that lives? How can you have a relationship with someone halfway across the country or across the world, and you're just doing video chat? You don't really know that person until you meet them in person and be around them and their friends, and they be around you and your friends. Then you get to see how a person really acts in their day to day, and how they act in their personality, and that takes time. And to me, somebody long distance, I don't trust that. I just can't. I just can't do that. Okay, bye, Bobby. Love you. Um, GSP says you can. My ex was from England on a K1 visa. We got along great, video chatted and talked all day. He got here and it all fell apart. Yeah, I mean, you will get somebody here, and then you realize, oh, this person ain't shit. like, and again, I've only dated one dude long distance, and this was years ago. This was years and years and years ago. And he flew me, and I flew to Philadelphia. Um, to meet him, and there was absolutely positively no chemistry. And I was there for 2 days, and it was a waste of money and waste of time. I spent money on a flight. I spent $700 there, and it was just a waste of time. And I told myself I will never do that again, because him over the phone and him talking to him through text was different than somebody in person. It's just different. GSP says she found out he was a thief and didn't pay his bills or clean up after himself. Yeah, because cleanliness is good for me. So what we talking about, everybody, not for everybody. There's this notion that you have to bend and break and contort yourself and supersede and get rid of your likes and your desires in order to compromise. Now, there are certain things that we all know that we can compromise on. It's up to you individually. There are certain things that I like. There are certain things I can compromise on. And there are certain things for me are like, hell no, I can't compromise. We live in a dating age where I feel like everything has to be compromised on. Everything. No matter how you act, no matter what you want, whether physical. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, your girl Kiki is kind of shallow. Like I have dated men who are average. I have dated men that have been not so attractive. I'm trying to be nice because I'm not trying to shame nobody because of looks or size. I don't think I'm all that. But when your girl puts some hair on, puts some makeup on, and I go about my day to day and I don't look like y'all this, when I'm in my natural habitat, your girl is pretty attractive. I keep a neat house. I'm a clean person. I like to dress nice. I smell good. I like to keep myself up when I'm with man. I don't look like this. So I like a man who I find attractive, and that varies, according to person. But what I find attractive. So I'm not willing to compromise on what I find attractive. I'm a tall girl. I'm 5'9". So I like a man. There's a bug on me. I like a man that's, you know, 5'8" and taller because I'm 5'9". I don't like little bitty short. Seen some booty photos. Shut up, Bobby. Go ahead. Go, go. Bobby trying to be funny. Talking about send some booty photos. Send picture of your booty, girl. And then anyway, we're gonna get into that in a moment because I have some black men who are like, oh my God, did it because they assume because I'm black, I'm talking about black men. Y'all, these is white dudes. When I talk about some dude was talking about that I need to come that he was inviting me over his house to come F him on the second date, it's a white guy. When I'm talking about a dude was telling me sending a picture of your booty, it was a white guy. So let me go ahead and clear this up in this video right now. Brothers, I'm not talking about y'all. Because there are some black men who are like, oh well, did it, and I'm like, are you assuming that these men are black? They're not. Then they're not black. These weren't black men asking me these stupid, nasty questions. These were white dudes. So I just let me put that out there because some brothers was getting mad, and I'm like, what y'all getting mad? And I was like, oh, y'all assuming I'm talking about black men asking for booty pic, baby. These was white dudes, baby. These was white dudes, white honey. So I don't know. Some people like got it twisted, like I was disparaging black men. Like, nah, baby, these is white dudes. They was thirst trapped. You're intimidating to most men. I am. I'm smart. I'm educated, and I'm tall. So I feel like I like a man who's educated. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about people who have not went to college, and that's you. I like a man who's educated. I like a man who's articulate. I like a man who's smart. I like a man kind of nerdy because I am nerdy. I am I am not asking anything out of a man that I don't bring to the table myself. I would never ask a man to be out here making six figures if I didn't make six figures. I would never ask a man to be clean if I wasn't clean. I would never ask a man to be responsible if I wasn't responsible. But then again, to me, these are all basic things. I expect you as an adult to know how to pay your bills. I expect as an adult, especially at my age, in your 40s, 50s, the demographic of age of dudes that I date. Now, I traditionally like younger men. So I'm dating men who are in their early to mid 40s. So that let me put that out there. I'm not dating 20-year-olds. I'm not dating 30-year-olds. That's too young for me. Okay. I expect a man at 42, 43 years old to have his own crib, a stable job, know how to wash his ass. Let me say it again. Know how to wash his ass, know how to dress himself, and handle himself accordingly like a gentleman. I don't expect you to be thirsty. I don't expect you to be like, desperate or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but from what I found, like I said, I can only speak about my area in Texas, North Texas to be exact, the DFW area. Let's put it that way. That there are a bunch of men who are like, oh, well, you have to be more flexible, and you have to be more flexible about what? Well, flexible. Okay, the only thing flexibility you getting from me is in the bedroom. But that's but I mean everybody has a type. Everybody you should know what you want in a person. So my quest was, do people just walk around and just date people just to be dating people, and they don't? Everybody has a type. Everybody has a type. I have a type. I've had dudes try to push up on me, and I'd be like, "Thanks, but no thanks." Like I know these other women may have fell into the trap, but I'm like, you're not my type. Well, what do you mean I'm not your type? You're not my type. Well, I got a job and I got a car. And you're not okay, honey. You are mentally and physically not my type. And so I've had men get offended while I tell them, "Okay, you bet, boo, you're not my." Well, what do you mean? Okay, well, honey, I don't know if you just used to not hearing no all the time, or you used to dealing with women who just, part their legs like the Red Sea for everybody and anybody. And there's some women out there, I'm not trying to shame y'all. Get it how you get live it how you live it. But when you start telling men, okay, you're not my type, or it's a no for me, and I do it in the politest way possible. Be a real man, lift the toilet seat and put it back down. Thank you. Like, don't be nasty. Like I don't, and then I tell dudes, okay, no, on the second and third date, I'm not coming to your house. I've had a bunch of dudes who are like, well, I want to come over and cook dinner for you. And okay, I I had to tell somebody yesterday, sir, I've exchanged literally 7 text messages with you. I've met you one time in person for about an hour. And then the second time I see you, you want me to come to your house? Are you effing stupid? I'm a single mother, okay? A single mother. My parents are dead. I don't have any brothers to come after you and whoop your ass if you do something bad. I don't have a lot of family down here. So why do I need to come over your house? And why do you keep insisting that I come over your house? That gives me another side eye. Why do you keep going on and on about me coming to your house? Usually I didn't told you no once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I've said no, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. I don't do that. I don't do that. So how many times are you gonna keep asking me when I'm telling you I'm not gonna do that? Yeah, he wants to smash. Well, no, we don't have to have sex. I am not coming over to any man. I said it's not just you. I'm not going over any man's house that I've talked to for 2 weeks, that I've barely text, that I've seen you once. You don't know a lot of why as a man, fellas, would you want to invite any bitch over your house that you barely know? Let me tell y'all a story. I had a friend that I work with, an older lady. Her son had met this girl online. He was talking to her for probably about a couple of weeks, and she was like, "Yeah, meet me at this hotel when we gonna woo 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 woo." Don't y'all know this dude went to the hotel in Dallas? It was in Dallas news. This is like 3 years ago. Don't you know that he went over there to meet this girl, and she had 3 dudes there waiting for him and beat him up and took his wallet? Don't you know he had to run out there with his life? It was a setup. It was a trap. No lie, y'all. No lie. And I know other dudes that have been in almost similar situations with people online. Y'all hear about this stuff like all the time. There's people that went over people's house, had sex with them, and then they didn't murder the person in the house. Like y'all didn't heard the stories. If you haven't, go look it up. Where somebody has met somebody online and they turn out to be crazy. I know there's one story where one of my friends met a girl online, and she was like, "Oh, come pick me up from my friend's house." And he was like, "Okay, I'll pick you up from your friend's house, then we go hang out." Don't you know this chick had like a suitcase, some pillowcases, and some stuff in the garbage bag, talking about, "Well, yeah, we need to go back to your house." I'm not lying. This chick got kicked out of her boyfriend's house, was online talking to other dudes, and was trying to see which dude can come pick. So this dude was stupid enough to take this chick. I'm in my car. This dude was stupid enough to take this chick back to his house. And then don't you know? Did you know he had to call the police because the bitch didn't want to leave? I'm not lying. I swear to God, on God, this chick did not want to leave his house, y'all. This chick did not want to leave his house with all her stuff. And then when he tried to get her to leave, this chick flipped out. He had to call the police because this chick was crazy. And it turned out she was on meth. She was on drugs. She was a hot mess. She had like 4 or 5 kids. She was like Destiny from Love. Y'all remember Destiny from Love After Lockup? That's what this chick looked like. Yeah, he had a squatter. He had a whole squatter. So again, I know stories of women that went to men's house and they tried to lock the door behind them and try to put something in their drink. Y'all, I had to explain this dude. Don't you know there are crazy ass people out here? So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing me. I have to know you first before I go over to your house because I have to protect myself as a woman, as a single mother. Like if something happened to me, where my kids gonna go? My kids ain't got no place to go. My mama's dead, my daddy's dead. Um, I don't have any brothers and sisters. I have to look out for myself. I don't have a lot of people that if something happened to me and I come up missing, that's gonna really look for me like that. I don't have family here. Like that's crazy. And the idea that this dude just keeps insisting, it's like to me, I said, bro, that's creepy AF, bro. Like that's this is what you're dealing with. Like I said, I went on a date with the other dude and stopped talking to him and blocked him because he was like, well, the second time we can meet up during the daytime. You can come over to my house and then, we can what? Smash? I'm not, what? Like, I just started talking to you. Are you that thirsty? No. So I tell people, we are not for everybody, and it's okay. There are certain standards and certain things that I do that may not work for you. There's certain things that you do that may not work for me. There are certain comfort levels. I'm introverted. I'm a shy girl. I'm introverted. So I'm a slow burn. It takes a while for me to get used to being around a person. Believe it or not, I know y'all see me do videos and y'all get Keisha, but really, I'm real quiet. I'm real introverted. So around people, anybody that I don't know, whether they be a date or male or female, whoever, that's just me. It takes me a while to warm up, and I tell dudes all of this ahead of time. It's not like they don't know. It's not like it's not in my profile. It's not like I don't tell them. I explain. I'm into frank, honest communication, frank, honesty about who you are. I know myself. I know who I am. Nobody has to tell me who I am. I don't have to figure it out. I'm old enough to know what works and what doesn't work for me in a man. And then people out here, like I said, I can only speak from the male perspective because I don't know. I don't date women, but there are men out here that will try to convince you and tell you that what's up is down and what's down is up, and try to convince you that the way you go about things. Well, one guy even told me, well, you're not gonna find nobody like that. And da-da-da-da. Child, I'm like, you can't tell me nothing, bitch. I was in a 5-year relationship and I was married. Please don't tell me what I can and cannot find. And if I can't find it, I'm not gonna die because I don't have a man. I don't need no man to pay my bills. I have my children. I don't need no man to raise my kids. Everything in my house is my own name. I live in a 4-bedroom house in a gated community, bitch. Is there anything you else would like to say? I've been married. I've had a successful marriage. That's another thing that men don't like when you tell them I've had a successful marriage. I know what works for me. And if it don't work for you, there's no reason for me to be insulting. There are plenty of dudes out here that don't like black women. I don't care. There are plenty of women out here who want religious women. Great. I don't care. There are plenty of men out here, especially where I live, are very conservative. That's not for me. I don't care. That's not for me. I've had conservative dudes who are like, why don't you date conservative? Because I've dated conservative men before. I've dated two, and it didn't work out because I'm very liberal and very progressive. I'm like, are you going to go to a gay pride parade with me? No, no. Okay. All right. Well, thanks. No, thanks. It's not going to work out. I've had guys try to give me shit because of that. And I'm like, I'm liberal. I like, well, what does politics have to do? If you think for 1 second that politics and your mindset and your worldview and your lifestyle has nothing to do with who you date, get the hell away from me right now because you are full of it. You are full of it. I tell them I don't lead a normal life. I'm going back to school in the spring to get my degree in political science. I want, well, once my kids are grown and out of the house, and which is like, whenever that happens, or they're old enough to be able to watch themselves for, I want to travel. I want to go help people. I want to do things. I help people now and involved in organizations online, but eventually I want to get out and travel and go to different places and help people. I'm convinced of this more than anything. So if I care about certain causes, why in the hell would I want to be with somebody that on the political spectrum they're the total opposite? Because again, I am not for everybody and I don't want to be. You are not for everybody. You shouldn't have to be. You shouldn't bend your morality. If you love God and you go to church and your faith is part of who you are, and your faith is really important to you, you should not be dating an atheist. You should not be dating somebody who their faith is very flippant. You should find somebody that loves the Lord or loves Allah or loves Muhammad, peace be upon him, as much as you do. You should find that person. You should not waste your time with a woman that is not going to go to mosque or church or temple with you. That if that's important to you. But we live in an age where people are like, well, you can't emphasize this and you can't say this to a man. You can't. I'm like, from the jump, from the jump, before you even start dating, you should find out what kind of man and what kind of person you are and what kind of person you're looking for and what kind of person fits with you. That's the first thing you should be figuring out in your mind. What kind of man do I like? What kind of things do I like to do? What kind of lifestyle I lead? If you're a man that likes to sit at home and play video games and watch Netflix and chill and that's all you want to do, baby, I'm not the woman for you. And guess what? That is okay. If you want to sit around and play video games and watch Netflix and you more of a homebody and you just an average dude that want to crack open a cold one and sit around, that's okay. And find somebody that fits your lifestyle. If that's the kind of lifestyle you lead, you should not be with a woman like me. You should run in front of hills. The reason why so many relationships and marriages fails is because people are wrapped up in looks and lust, and people are settling and compromising their morality, their politics, their beliefs in order to not be alone or in order to get sex on a regular. So I tell people, you are not for everybody. Everybody is not for you. And women in particular, we do this all the time. I have done this to my detriment. I have dated dudes that I knew damn well wasn't right for me. That we lead a different lifestyle. We have a different worldview. And I'll be like, well, he has a house and he has a car and he's stable and he's a nice guy. And they were nice guys. But all of those dating and the relationships ended like within 6 months to a year because they were not right for me in the first place. I know what kind of man excites me. And sometimes it's hard for you to find the right fit for you. But I promise, if you be patient and give it time, you will find that right fit for you. Or sometimes I'm to the belief that people are not entitled to a relationship. There are a lot of men out here who feel like they're entitled to have somebody. And then when they don't have any woman, then they go crazy and they become incels and they go up and they become violent and bitter and mean because they can't get a woman. Honey, your life should not center around whether you're going to get a woman or not. Your life should not center around whether you have a man or not. Your life shouldn't center around whether, you know, if you really need uh sexual intimacy, there are ways to get that without being dating in a relationship. But I find that men want it all. They want this woman. They want her to be submissive. They want her to cook. They want her to clean. They want her to do this and this and this. They have all these demands, but then for themselves, they don't really offer the same. And they don't offer the same types of things that a woman may or may not want. GSP said, "I've done that. Doesn't work. I'm just going to roam the earth alone like the Hulk." Me too. I feel like if I got to be alone, that's fine. But then people try to shame you and be like, "Well, you're going to be alone." Honey, I have my children. I'm never alone when I have my children. And then when my children are grown and they're off and they're doing their thing, when they become older, then I'm gonna be happy for them, and then I'll go and travel the world and do whatever I got to do and see sights and see and live, my career and focus on what I have a passion for. I have a passion for art. I have a passion for humanitarian. I have a passion for social justice. I do not have a passion for men. A man is not my passion. I have a passion for my children. And I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to dating, children get left out of the conversation. You know, Marsha said, "Phew, I'm not alone. Thanks for this." Yeah, Hey, Marsha, what's up? Like, I have a passion for other things other than getting a man because, again, can't nobody tell me nothing when I've been married. I've been married. So can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me that I need to sacrifice and I need to do this and do that and do this. No, I don't. I had a man. I had a husband. I had a husband. I had a good husband. I had a damn good husband, y'all. And I had a husband that I was allowed to just be me. I didn't have to do much or too much of anything. My husband loved me for who I was. And let me end on this note. When people are talking about marriage and husband, I would say to all the men out there, like I said, men and women both, you shouldn't be contorting and bending to anybody else's will, especially in the beginning when you're trying to find somebody or just dating somebody. You shouldn't be compromising on your values and what you want in a person because society, your friends, your church, your mama is telling you're too picky. How many times have we heard that? Oh, well, you're just being too picky. You should be picky because especially if you have young children, you should be picky. Is this person going to be a good father if that's what you want? Is this person going to be a good husband if that's what you want? If you're looking for something long term and you have children, younger children that are not going to be out the house, they're not adults, they're not teenagers. I have a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old. So if I want to be serious with somebody, that person has to be a dynamic person. He has to be a good person. He has to be a good father. He has to be clean. He has to be neat. I like my men clean cut. There's certain things I do and personality traits I can compromise on, and there's certain things I do not. You have to be responsible. You have to be intelligent. You have to be articulate. I'm not asking for the world. I'm not saying, oh, well, your pinky toe's too big, so I don't want to be with you. Or, well, he's a little too short. I don't want to be with you. You disqualified. Or I don't like what kind of car he drives. I'm not talking about nitpicky, superficial, vapid things to be picky over. I'm talking about personality traits, habits, lifestyle. Those are things that nobody should ever tell you that you are picky about. And if it's particular, if you have children, you should always be picky. If you're a single parent, male or female, you should always be picky about who you devote your time with. My time is precious. Let me preach to you. Baby, I got 2 kids who are very active. So in my mind, if you want me to come over your house, if you want me to come spend time with you, then you better damn well make it worth it. I got work to do. I got things to do. I got kids to raise. I'm not asking no man to raise my children. With planning, I can go on dates. I have some place my kids can go. But you are taking time out of my schedule. I could be doing art. I could be submitting art. I could be making money. So in order for you to be on that totem pole of importance, you better offer something better than a WYD text message or hey, hi. I need real conversation. You will get bounced off the Kiki list in a second with that bullshit. And people are like, well, that's just how dating is this day. Okay, well, now I don't want any part of it because I didn't marry a man like that. I didn't marry a man sending me text messages talking about WYD. I didn't marry a man like that. I married my best friend. I married a man where we could sit and talk for hours. I married a man where we would sit and watch news and watch Nancy Grace, and we would sit up there and watch true crime and watch true crime channel and talk about true crime shit. We would sit there and watch football and watch wrestling together and watch baseball. Yeah, WYD, deep thinking. Right. I don't need somebody that's gonna half ass a relationship with me. If that's how people are doing it these days, I'll stay single. No problem. No problem. No problem, bitch. No problem. I got money. No problem. What I need a man for? I done had my children. I ain't having no more kids. No problem. I no problem. If you a man, you're supposed to add to my life and not be a problem. You're supposed to enhance my life, not bring it down. You there are certain things that I like. I'm not a materialistic person. I like to go, I like to hike, I like to travel. Y'all see my vlogs. I like to go and do things. I'm going to Kwanzaa. Bitch, are you going to Kwanzaa with me? I want a man that's comfortable enough to go to Kwanzaa. So if you white and I'm dating you, you gonna have to be comfortable around black people. When this summer when I go to Pride, are you gonna be comfortable going to Pride? Because I go to Pride. Me and my friend, we go to Pride. I had a man that went with me, my ex, he didn't have no problem going to Pride. Came back with a rainbow bracelet, very straight, very firm in his sexuality. No issues being around gay people. I can say that about my ex. My ex had no issue being around black folks, being around gay people, being around poor people. He had no issues in any of those. So I need a man who has no issues in none of that. You remind me of my mother. Oh, that's such a compliment. Yay. I like reminding. I had somebody else who's like, "Oh my god, you remind me of my mom." Somebody else said that too. I was like, "Yay!" Like I have, when I go to a drum circle, African drum circle, are you gonna be there? Because that's the kind of man I need that's gonna be there. When we go to Cinco de Mayo in May, and we celebrate my children's Mexican heritage because they got Mexican in them. Are you gonna be there? Are you gonna be there for Czech Fest? Because my kids are German and Czech too, so they do that too. So are you gonna be comfortable around that? I don't need somebody sitting at home while I go do things. I had a man like that for 5 years. We sat at home while I went and did things. So that doesn't work for me. I had a man that the last 2 years of our relationship, he didn't communicate a lot. He basically barely communicated with me. We barely talked. So I don't need a man that barely talks to me. I don't need a man that doesn't like to go do things. I don't need a man that wants to sit at home and do nothing all day. I just got out of a relationship with a man like that. If I wanted to, I can go back to that. Best believe I can go back to that. If I wanted physical intimacy, baby, I can just make one text message and one phone call, and I could be over there in about an hour and be laid up and getting that. So I don't need that. I'm not desperate for that. I'm not thirsty for companionship. I'm not thirsty for a man where I'm just gonna settle for anything. If I wanted to settle for anything, I would go back to the 5 year relationship that I was fucking in. GSP said her mother moved out of the United States to Canada during the Vietnam War in protest. My uncle died in the Vietnam War when he was 20 years old. He was shot. He was killed. He died friendly fire. And if you know what friendly fire means, it means that he was killed. My uncle was shot by friendly fire. My uncle was, that's a time for another video. My uncle was actually shot on purpose by racists in his regiment. My uncle rose up the ranks in the military. He was the captain, and he was actually died. The official, I pulled the record saying he died by friendly fire, but what I've been told by other people that were in his group, who served with my uncle, saying that there were racists who did not like my uncle being a captain and giving them orders, and they were from the South. I'm from Michigan, and they did not like that. And he died of friendly fire because they accidentally thought he was the Viet Cong. My uncle was taken out on purpose by racists in Vietnam. So that's a story for another time. I didn't pull up the paperwork. I'll show y'all. My uncle, you can look him up online. And I had two different guys email me that served with him and told me the same story. Because at first I didn't believe it. And I learned this about 6 years and it was devastating. Like my mother like sat down and was shook about because my grandmother used to tell me that she thought that he was killed. But anyway, do you like cider? I love cider. I'm from Michigan. You can't be from Michigan and not like cider. Yeah, my uncle got drafted. And my uncle, no, I take that back. My uncle did not get drafted. He enlisted. Hot 7 Up and cider? No. Oh no, I just like plain cider. I like it hot or I like it cold. I like any kind of apple juice. You know, I grew up in Michigan where we had blackberries and an apple tree. And so we would go hot 7 Up. Like I grew up where we had blackberries and we had apple tree in my backyard, and then we would try to eat the apples and they had worms in them because I didn't know any better. But anyway, y'all, I'm getting off topic. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to be for everybody. That everybody doesn't have to be for you. That we live in a time where friends and family are giving you horrible, terrible advice. They're well meaning. Trust me, I have friends that are like, I've dated dudes that again that look good on paper, what they call looking good on paper. But when it came to um in real life and us meshing, there was really no connection. But because he was stable and he was a nice dude and he was in the military, I dated a guy who was in the military, who's a sweet guy. And he comes to my channel. He's a sweet guy, sweet as he can be. But he likes to stay at home. He likes to play video games. You know, that's for him. You look. Let me tell you something. Y'all talking about cider. We can't get no good cider down here. Like they have cider, but it's hard to find because not everybody drinks cider down here. Because I'm in Texas, nobody likes cider. Um, so cider good. Cider is hard to find down here. Don't say why, Bobby. It's a setup. Oh, I know. I'm not reading it, Bobby. Oh, Bobby, I like Bobby. That's the best type of cider. Y'all know I'm dirty. Y'all's the best type of cider. That jacket is cute. You think so? This is my like. I got this on Amazon, y'all. How what pulls my teeth? I got this on Amazon, y'all. But yeah, I just said that like, I just I see a lot on the internet and I hear a lot and crazy things, and then people are like, well, you should do this and you should say this, and I'm like, so I got to be fake and I got to front. You will never see me faking or fronting for nothing. Bye, Bobby. Bye, Bobby. I thought you been gone. Bye, Bobby. I love you, Bobby. Ooh, mwah, mwah. You know. But I'm like, I'm not finna be up here pee popping and torting and twisting and shimmying. Like I'm not finna up for that. Well, you gotta say this, he not saying that, and da 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 da. Yeah, hey everybody, thanks for joining the live. Yes. Please like the video, y'all. I appreciate it. But I mean, I tell people you don't have to contort. Like I said, people want to give you shit. Don't listen to it. I even stick up for men. I was like, man, you like what you like. If you're a black man, you don't date white women, like white women. Date white women. Go find you a snow bunny. Go and find you a white girl, sir. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I be damned if I'm gonna be mad at anybody for liking what they like. You know, you don't have to drag black women, but I mean, if you a gay man and like what you like, if you're a gay woman, you buy you may like men and women. You may want to have one of each. Do you? But don't let anybody tell you that you have to compromise on what you like and you have to be fake and you can't say certain things. This is the stupidest thing I've ever had. Do y'all know who Steven Speaks is? Like I realized how stupid people were when I started watching Steven Speaks on YouTube. And he has a good channel. He gives good advice. He has been saying the shit that I've been saying for years as a man. So if you do not know who Steven Speaks is, he's a brother. He has a YouTube channel, he has self-help books, he does coaching for dating. Steven Speaks changed my life because I was sitting there watching. I somehow YouTube recommended it, and I was like, yes, yes, yeah. Everything he was saying was like, you should communicate up front. All the things that my female friends and male friends are telling me not to do, he was tell. I was like, that don't sound right. It never worked. It did. It didn't work. What he says is everything that I agree with. He is saying that when you start dating somebody, to be upfront, to be honest, put your needs out there, stick to your standards, hold your standards high, and don't compromise. Because there are a lot of people out here playing. There's a lot of people on some bullshit. There are a lot of people on dating apps that are mentally ill. There are a lot of people out here don't know what they want. They just flittering around from person. They falling into relationships. I don't want to fall into a relationship. I've had many relationships where I just fell into some D. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Please don't act like you don't know. Y'all know y'all done fell in some D or fell in some P and a few times in your life. And the next thing you know, you wake up the next morning, you in a relationship. Come on now. We've all been there. I didn't met somebody, barely knew that dude, got with them on a physically intimate, and then walk, and then next thing you know, you over that dude's over your house, you over his house. Granted, this is before I had children. You over his house, he over your house, and then next thing you know, y'all just together. Ain't no conversation had. You don't barely even know the dude. Everybody like, oh, well, you got a man now? Yeah, I guess so. Cause you didn't fell in the D. You didn't fell in it. I didn't fell in many a I've had lots of relationships, y'all. I've dated a lots of guys when I was in my 20s. And I didn't fell in lots of relationships that ended. Some of them just pittered out, nothing. Some of them ended in disaster. What pulls my teeth said a lot of mentally ill looking for relationships when they need to be looking for help and healing. Right. GSP says she married a stranger. Right. Some people, they put more thought into buying a pair of shoes than in a relationship. I got that from Steven Speaks, and he speaks the truth. That people put more energy into buying a car, a pair of shoes, a jacket than they do finding another person that you're sharing your life with. If you are sharing your life with another human being, that should be a thoughtful process. It should be you should have standards. You should know what you like. You should not compromise on certain things. People put more effort in finding a pair of damn Jordans than they do finding a woman. And then they end up getting cheated on, burned, hurt, and then they be sitting around looking dumb like, what happened? Because, baby, you jumped feet first in, head first in, ass in with somebody that you shouldn't have been with. A lot of straight men out here are bitter about this, but I'm like, shouldn't you even been with that woman in the first place? She probably really didn't even like you. And then there's a lot of women out here settling for men that they really don't want to be with because they don't want to be alone and they want to have a piece of man. And let me say my last thing before I go. I watched this video where this dude was talking about statistics, and the statistics were real. Talking about, well, the reason why is dating so bad and why are things so disjointed and uneven between men and women, because women, you know, women have become more educated and more independent because they realize, they don't really need to be married and have kids and all that, because a lot of women, there are more women in college, there are more educated, upward, upward, upwardly mobile women now than there ever has been in the past 20 years, which I agree with, which is true. So I agree with that. There are more women going to college. There are more women going back to college. There are more women that are educated, who are career driven in their 20s or when they first starting out in life. I agree with that. But what gets looked over is, okay, my question is, not every woman goes to college. I have female family members who work a job, who work a customer service job, warehouse job, may work two jobs. They've never went to college. So what about them women? Yes, the educated, college educated women who have spent their time and their money in graduate school or whatever, who are making really good money or working their way through their career, those women are career driven. Those are the women that everybody talks about. Everybody talks about. But I'm like, you do realize not every woman goes to college. You do realize that there are women out there who don't have any kids, who are single, who haven't dedicated their lives to their career. So what now? I feel like the narrative is out there is blaming women for pursuing a career, but I'm like, Wait a minute. Not all women have a career. Not all women have foregone childbearing years to have a career. Not women. All women out here are going to college. So when we talk about women going to college, you're talking about a segment of the population. Again, I know lots of women who don't have who are single, who didn't go to college in their 20s. They just worked. They may have had children. Some of them may have not. So I just I don't understand I don't understand the talking about women choosing their careers, and I'm like, but there's some women out there who's single who can't find a man who didn't choose their career. They still are childless. Some of them had a relationship in their 20s for 5, 6, 7 years, and it ended, or some of them were married in their 20s and it ended. Some of them have kids, some of them didn't. So what's the solution for them women? Those are the women that I want to talk to that get ignored. Yes, us college educated women, you can have a college career, you can have an education, and you can have a husband. I had it all. I had a husband that was very supportive, and I had a baby. So I had a husband that supported my career, that supported my ambitions. I had to forego all that when he got sick, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. No regrets. And I had to do, I had to forego my aspirations, want to be a journalist and a writer, because my husband died. So I had no control over that. That's not my fault, but it's just life. Life happens to us all. So I'd say that life is not planned, y'all. Just because you're married, it don't mean your husband is gonna be there. It doesn't mean that everything is gonna work out. You can't control another person. People grow apart. Things happen. Or you can't control whether your husband or wife dies or not. I mean, I hate to tell people that, but nothing is guaranteed. When I was married and I had my son, I thought my life was set. I thought me and my husband were right. I did everything right. I was not a baby mama. I had a career. I had a husband. I had a son. I did everything right. And shit still got fucked up because my husband had a disease and he died. That's it. Died. So I don't live in a state of arrogance. I don't live in a state of, in my life perspective, my whole life perspective changed when my husband died. So I tell people nothing is promised. Nothing. Nothing. Not your fucking marriage, not your kids, not your health. Your health is the first thing that your health is your wealth. That's the first thing you should be trying to pay attention to is your health. Because again, my husband was 9 years younger than me. Do you think I thought my husband was going to die at 28? No. I didn't think my husband was going to die at 28, 29 years old. Fuck, I think he's going to die for. And the things that went on before he died and how sick he was for 2 years, I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't go into thinking, okay, this is how if somebody would have told me that's how my life would have ended, I wouldn't have believed them. I would have been like, nah, I'm going to ride on off into the sunset because, again, I did everything right. Educated, career, marriage, child, all that. And things still blew up in your face. So I tell people, if you think you're safe and think you're set in your life, or think having a man is going to set in your life, I know women widowed. I know women divorced. I know women that have been through it, honey. Dealing with a man that all of a sudden they flipped the script on them one day. That one day that man was in love and the next day that man was gone, honey. Because you can't stop somebody from doing whatever they want to do. I know women that have been like, I'm tired of this marriage. I'm out. I'm done. They married the dude like 10, 20 years ago. They was a whole different person then. They like, I'm out. I'd rather be single and be alone. So I would just say nothing in life is guaranteed. Nothing in life is promised. Yeah, men are losing their lives younger and younger and younger. Nothing is promised to you in life. Period. I live my life with that self-realization. So do you think I'm going to compromise to be with a man when I had a good ass marriage? I had a good husband and a good ass marriage. I had a husband who loved me. I had a husband that gave me the freedom to do whatever I want to do. I mean, I wasn't out cheating or nothing, but I had a husband that we got along. I had a husband who was my best friend. I deserve that. At least that. I deserve that. I'm not expecting to find somebody to replace my husband or be like my husband. My ex was nothing like my husband. He was on the opposite end of the spectrum from my husband. But the mistakes that I made in my 5 year relationship, I am determined. I'll be damned if I'm gonna make them mistakes again. I'm not. There are things that went right in my relationship, and there were things that went wrong in my relationship. And there are things that I should have spoke up for myself. I should have put my foot down. I should have left them 2 years ago probably and not put up with that long. But I got comfortable, and people settle and people get comfortable. And so I did that, and I fully admit it. But I'm not going to have anyone tell me that I can't get a man who can't communicate, that I can't get a man that's not clean cut, that I can't get a man that wants to talk to me and not talk to 15 other females because I want to talk to a man. I don't want to talk to 10 different men. I just want one. I just need one good guy that I like, and I'm very decisive. I don't need a man that's indecisive. If you got to pick between me and this other chick and this other chick and this other chick, I don't want to be with you because I'm not special enough. I want somebody to be like, Keisha, you special. I like you. You bring a lot of shit to the table. You the chick I want to be with. You got some good cooking and your head game is on point. That's the kind of man I want to be with. Oh Lord. Gee, y'all stop me today. GSP said, I had DV in 3 or 4 relationships. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You're happy or single. I've never had DV in any of my relationships. However, the first real relationship I had when I was 19 years old, I did have a man. Um, I was 17 years old and he was 19, and I had a man that was verbally abusive. I had a man that was verbally abusive. I had a man that was controlling. I had a man. I told y'all stories before. I dated a man that controlled what I wear, what I went. He ran away all my friends. This man put a gun to my head. This man threatened to kill me. Like I had that, and I learned from at by the time we were together for 3 years. By the time I was 19 years old, I was like, I ain't going through this again. I had a man that would holler at me, that would tell me I was nothing, and I don't play that. I had people try to tell me, well, it's expected to argue with people. What? In my 5 year relationship, we had disagreements, we had arguments, but my ex ain't never raised his hand to me. My ex ain't never cussed me out. My ex have never even raised his voice. We have never got down into a yelling argument. I did not grow up like that. I did not grow up in a household like that. I did not grow up with parents like that. I did not grow up with a grandma cussing me out. I did not grow up with parents who call me out my name. I don't talk to my children like that. You will never hear me yelling and hollering and screaming at my motherfucking children. I did not grow up like that. My kids are not growing up like that. I did not have a marriage where we yelled and screamed and hollered at each other. I don't grow. There's a way to calmly talk to people, and I'm tired of people normalizing DV, normalizing trauma, because you don't have to live like that, sis. You don't. You don't have to live, and people normalize it, and they see it on TV, and they think, well, people just normally holler and yell and scream at each other and throw a play. I had one dude get mad at me, punch a hole in the wall, and I said, MF, if you don't get the fuck up out of my motherfucking house with that bullshit, I'ma run you through, bastard. And that's exactly what I told one of my exes. This dude got mad, punched a hole in the wall. I'm looking like this. And it wasn't a big hole, it was a little hole. He punched the wall. I ain't never been with no dude that punched the wall before. Baby, you crazy? And he was 5'8" too. Child, you would get your little ass whooped up in here. He literally punched a small hole in my wall. And I'm like, we live in an apartment complex. Don't you know that's going to go against my damn deposit? I told him, I said, if you don't get the F up out of my house right now, I'm finna call the law. Your ass is finna go back to jail, bitch. If you don't get, I collect swords. I have 10 swords in my house. I told him, I said, if you don't get the fuck out of my house, I will run through you. He was like, nah, baby, nah, baby. I said, if you don't get your hands off of me, I'm calling. And guess what I did? I called the cops, and I made him leave my house. We didn't live together, but I made that little sawed off motherfucker leave my house. real talk. Because I'm not the one. You finna punch my wall. And then he had a nerve to call me a couple of days later and be like, well, I apologize and did. Well, I had other girlfriends because these motherfuckers try to tell you, well, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Fuck you. No, you're not. I had a dude yell at me and call me a bitch. We're done. Well, I don't understand. We're done. Well, I don't. We're done. Well, I don't. We're done. We're done. We're done. Done. Like done. Done. I don't put up with that bullshit. Well, the other girls I dated, that's them. That's not me. That's them. I feel strongly about that. I feel strongly about that, like I feel strongly about children. I don't take anybody degrading me, anybody act like they're gonna hit me. You want to punch a wall? That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. When we were talking about love their lockup and what Gabrielle went through, I almost went through the phone and killed people. Y'all understand? Because people was up there defending Chris and Gabby. I didn't even like Gabby, y'all. I didn't even like Gabby. But ain't no way people like, well, maybe she said this and maybe she said that, and whatever she said, you get the fuck out the house. I done had dudes say all kinds of shit to me, but I'm not finna sit up there and fist fight them motherfuckers. I feel strongly about DV and trauma and toxicity. I feel that y'all see me, my whole attitude and way I talk changed because I didn't have friends who went through it. I didn't have friends that went through it. I can't. I'm gonna say less. I'm gonna say less. I've had a family member recently had a dude kick her out the apartment with her baby and set the furniture on fire in the house. I'm just gonna say less. And it took everything in my power from wanting to go get with this dude because I just and I told my relative, you ain't gotta live like this. If you want to come live with me, come live with me. You ain't gotta stay in no situation with none of my relatives that watch my videos. You ain't gotta stay in no situation with no man. Come live with me. I have an extra room. Come live with me. So yeah, GSP and what pulls my teeth said, I refuse. I refuse. I refuse to have anybody disrespect me. When I did my shorts talking about, you know, um, dudes asking to F on the second date. That to me, that's disrespectful. You asking to see a picture of my booty. That's disrespectful. Can I see a picture of your booty? Because men will try that too. Well, can you send a full length picture and let me see what you're working with? Okay, why do I have to do that? Why does women have to do that? Let me see what you're working with. Can I get a picture of your eggplant? And watch them backpedal and pee pop and be like, well, because men don't really like the straight men don't really like to send pics. But they will ask a woman all day to send pictures. Why? Why? Because I'm a woman, I have to be objectified. I have to present myself for you. You got to see what my girls look like. You got to see my up tops and my down below. Why? I want to see your up tops. I want to see your down below, sir. You got a picture of your D? Let me see how big your D is, because I may not want to F with you if your D is too small. That's what I tell these men. And you'll see because they're not ready. Because baby, they're not ready for that. They're not ready for a real ass woman to be like, well, I want to see what your D look like, sir. Because if it's too small, I ain't talking to you. That's real talk. That's Keisha being real for y'all. I'm just gonna be real talking. I don't do no small D's. I don't. Like no. So any dude and they try it. Well, let me see a picture of you. I want to see a full. Well, let me see a picture of you. I want to see a full. Well, let me see your booty. Let me see your booty. Why I gotta show my ass? Let me see your ass. I like a man with a nice ass. Let me see your chest. I like a man with a nice chest. Don't y'all like a man with a nice chest? It's not the motion in the ocean. It's the width and the length, baby. I didn't had enough average D for a lifetime. So I hope my ex ain't watching this. Oh my ex, I'm sorry. But I done had enough average D for a lifetime. GSP said X burnt a mobile on my property down. I was asleep, almost burnt the house down. Start fires. They were all like, "Girl, I would have. That man would have been run through. Would have been an accident. He would have been in a barrel somewhere." They'd be like, "Where he at?" I'd be like, "I don't know. I don't know. He left somewhere." Girl, I'd be like, "I don't know where he at. He left the house mad. I don't." Girl, he would have been in an oil well. He would have been stewing in a pot somewhere. Girl, he would have been stewing in a pot, fucking around with me. Like I'm not the one. My grandmother know I got a good recipe for that. It's called motor oil acid. Anyway, I won't get into the recipe. But he be stewing in a pot somewhere, girl. But yeah, I'm like, I'm tired of, oh, he drugged you so he couldn't get out of bed. Girl, that man sound like he need to be 6 feet under the ground, girl. You couldn't be my relative GSP. He would have been disappeared. I would have been like, girl, I ain't heard from him a couple days. I don't know, girl. I hope you find him. Girl, your man. Oh, he moved it. Oh, he down here with me. Oh, bitch, come on with it. Hey, he come on, go on, send him the DF dub. So, but he died. He moved to Texas. Well, babe, hold on. Yeah, the devil is in Texas, child, because that man sound like the devil, straight up evil. Like I told people, I don't allow no evil in my house. I don't put up with the devil. I will leave you. Like I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience to be dealing with people's deviltries. I just don't have the patience. Like they used to call me love them and leave them, love them and leave them, Lakeisha. That's what they used to call me. Cause I used to bounce from man to man. I'd be like, up, you got to go, up, you got to go. They be like, Keisha don't put up with no mess. Why? Why should I? Why? When I could have another one next week? Like men ain't that. I mean, back in the day, men for me was not that hard to find. I was less discerning back then, so I would just bounce from man to man to man because I could, because I wanted to, because I could, because I was young. I was in my 20s, so I would just bounce from dude to dude. One dude get on my nerves, okay, next you go. You know, and because I didn't want to put up with like I said, there's nothing that get me more riled up than DV, trauma, toxicity, dysfunction. I don't live a life like that, y'all. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't live a life like that. I'd have had some dudes try it, but then they get dumped real quick. Because I don't normalize. I mean, am just amazing to me what people normalize. People normalize dudes not doing shit. People normalize men just not doing anything. I've done it. I'm guilty of it. I am guilty of it. I had a relationship in the last 2 years of our relationship where I normalized him not doing shit for me. And then I get online and people are like, oh, man's supposed to do this, and man's supposed to be doing that. And I'm just sitting there going, wait a minute, what? Like I'm like that meme, like y'all man actually like take care of y'all and give y'all soup when y'all sick. I didn't have that. I was in the hospital having surgery. My man was like, you good? To a text message. I'm not going to go through my relationship. But again, I took time off and I've been through enough therapy to deal with my relationship issues and why I put up with certain things and why I let things go along and come to a realization of myself, the reason why I did what I did and put up with what I put up with, and no, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And God knows I love my ex. Like y'all don't get it twisted. We had a good relationship the first 3 years, but I changed, and I wanted more out of a man, like than what he was given or what he could give. And to this day, I talked to him the other day, and he still don't get it. He still don't get it. And GSP, I'm sorry that you went um through that. I really am. Like if you was my daughter, ain't no way in hell nobody would treat my daughter like that. No way. Or my son. I wish somebody would. I got real sweet kids. So I couldn't imagine. I have a real sweet son who's 13. And yeah, GSP, we got you, girl. Like you ain't never had to like put up with no crazy shit. GSP, we need to talk because I ain't never had nothing to deal with nothing like that, but I have dealt with some crazy men. Like I've dealt with stalkers. Like I've done the videos. Y'all know my issue has always been with men that stalk. Like I've had exes to this day who still call me. I should do a video. Look, look, fam. I got some things to tell y'all. Like I have an ex that's married with kids. They're still trying to get with me. I have another ex that claims that he's still in love with me and he sends me like dick pics and videos. Y'all, I got things going on in my life. Um, that y'all be like, what? Like just nuttiness. So I tell people like if I really was desperate enough, I would get with either one of these dudes, but I'm not. So I'm not that desperate. But that's I had to, I need to go see if my electricity on. Like if y'all didn't know, my electricity is off. That's why I'm hanging out in the car because it's cold here, and I'm sitting up in the house with no electricity. I just left the cat there. I was like, Kitty, I'm out. I'm chunk the deuce on my cat, and leave him there to curl up on a blanket. But I have no electricity in my house. There's no electricity in my whole neighborhood. I'm trying to see that it come back on. I don't see any lights on, so what pulls my teeth said my family is too notorious. Once men start acting up, I make a phone call. That must be nice. I'm down here by myself. I'm down here by myself. Yeah, I left the cat in my house because it's cold. Like I can't work. I can't do anything because my computer is dead. So I can't. I'm like I don't know what to do. We don't have no electricity. So I was like, well, I might as well make a video and talk to y'all since I ain't got no damn electricity. I do have a generator at my house, but then my kids wore down my generator, so the only thing it could charge is really my phone. Like it can't, because normally I can plug appliances and things in. But when I was on vacation, my kids wore that generator out. To drive back and forth, they was plugging all kinds of things into the generator. A hot plate, like they they was driving. We was on our way to Austin. They was wearing the generator out, baby. They had computers plugged in. They had hot plate. It's cold here too in California. I think right now it's probably like 41 degrees, which is cold for Texas. It's not too bad. I just went for a walk, y'all. I've been getting back on my fitness thing. I know when my mama died, um, I stopped working out and I concentrated, and now I'm trying to get back on my fitness thing really hard and get to losing some weight and stuff. And I've done good the past like 3 or 4 days. Y'all see my face like kind of shrunk a little bit, like because when you start getting on that low carb diet real hard, like you lose a lot of water weight in the beginning, and so I'm getting back on it. Um, but I do have to tell y'all one thing. There is a dude that I am interested in, and I'm keeping y'all keep your fingers and toes and nose hairs and eyes and everything crossed. He's been on vacation in Germany and Czech Republic. He went on a big hiking trip with some friends. It's been playing. So um so we'll see how he does. Because again, communication and consistency goes a long way for me in dating, and I think that's true for a lot of people. Nobody wants to be with somebody that's sometimey, that barely talks to you, and I want a man that's just consistent. Like consistency goes a long way, and consistency keeps me consistent and keeps me interested. And I don't want, yeah, low expect, and I don't want to have low expectations. I want to have you know expectations that's good for me, and I don't want to be with somebody that it's just okay for them to barely talk to me and they think that I'm going to somehow magically part my legs like the Red Sea, part my knees like the Red Sea. I'm not. I need consistency. I need conversation. Um, my advice with dating, it may be simple, but they will come. That I wish it was that simple. What pulls my teeth? They never came to me. Every guy that I've ever been with, I had to get on a dating app and go through a lot of men until I finally found one that wore me down. And I can't say my ex did it. When I met my ex, I met him on Tinder, and I was talking to 3 or 4 other dudes, and he won the prize, I guess. Like he was more consistent. He was one willing to meet. Like he was like, okay, we'll meet in 2 weeks, and he was consistent. My ex was constantly, we were texting, we were talking, we got to know each other, we went on a date, and after that, we started dating. I mean, it wasn't, just speaking. Any of y'all could be my neighbor. We'd have some fun. What pulls my teeth? You never seek any men that you dated, but baby, you don't you live in New York? Don't you live in the mecca of people? Like I don't live like look where I live. This where I'm working with. Let me roll down the window. Hello. Is there any penis here? Is there any penis? Nope. Nope. No penis out there. So where I live, like I said before, is a bunch of married people, a bunch of married couples, and I live in even in the surrounding cities, it's a lot of. I live in a suburban gated community with a lot of married people. There's not a lot of single people out here. Um, and to be honest with you, being a black woman, and I do date white or Hispanic men, there's not a lot of white or Hispanic men. Like I only date a certain type of white dude. Okay, let me just put that in a certain type. I don't date white dudes who've never dated black women. Let me put it that way. And I have dated Hispanic. I like Hispanic men. But there are a lot of Hispanic men that really don't cut for black women like that. Not down here. Now, if I lived up north, when I get on dating apps, I have a lot of guys from Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, Florida, California that always send me messages. Good looking guys. Y'all got some of the best looking dudes up north. Y'all got some sexy white dudes up north. Like the dudes that are my type, like attract down hitty men and not these scruffy looking country. I'm not in the country. I'm not in the scruffy looking. Like if that's what you into, I'm not knocking anybody who is country and scruffy looking. I don't date white dudes who've never been with black women. I don't do that because I have in the past, it never works out. I need white men who really like black women. I don't want to be a fetish. I don't want to be something you mark off your fucking bucket list. I don't want to be none of those things. I need somebody who's down with the brown. I need somebody that got some mixed kids, like my ex. And then for people to say you can't find it, every white dude I've dated have dated black women. Every white dude. My ex, he was in an 8-year relationship with a black woman. He lived with her, helped raise her kids. Um, my late husband, he grew up in South Dallas and Oak Cliff. Y'all know, y'all familiar with Dallas. He grew up around black people. And that's all he liked was black women. My sister-in-law, all she dated is Hispanic and black dudes. Because that's just all they knew, because that's what they grew up around. They went to all black schools. That's it. Um, the other dude I dated, he spent 4 years with a black woman. Another dude I dated, he has two biracial children. He was married to a black woman for 10 years. Another dude I dated, he had biracial children and black women. So y'all see the pattern here. So we'll put on the bush on the left. What you talking about? I saw, and put your camera back over there on the bush on the left. What's going on with the bush on the left? What happened? What y'all see? Y'all see? They just building some houses over there across the street, y'all. Y'all see across the street, they just building some houses. Um, well, and then what pulls my teeth? It also depends on where you go. Where are you going to meet these men? Because again, down here in Texas, I need to invite all of y'all to come down here to Texas, because Texas is a whole vibe and a whole mood down here. I'm from the Northeast, so can't nobody tell me that it's not different, because I've been up north. My family's up north. Men up north are different than men down here. Men up north are much more aggressive, whether they be straight or gay, black or white or whatever. They're much more assertive. I wouldn't say aggressive, assertive. They're much more like wanting to come up to you. Men down here don't come up to you, especially because of how racist shit is down here. White dudes do not approach black women down here, but up north they do. Like I know they do. I have some in-laws in my family that are married to white dudes and white girls. White girls up north will approach a brother in a minute. Like I know white girls that go up to a brother and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Da, 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 da. But that doesn't happen a lot down here. People down here, they kind of like stay in their lane, and it's kind of segregated. Like when it comes to like socially, like there's clubs, and then there's black clubs that mostly black people go to. There's Hispanic clubs that mostly Hispanic goes to, and there's white clubs that mostly white people go to. So it's kind of hard when I have friends. All my friends date black dudes or Hispanic dudes. I don't really have any friends that date white dudes. All my friends date other. So whenever I want to go somewhere to go meet the white dudes, they like, like there's a top 40 kind of pop kind of club, but that my friends don't want to go there because they don't date white dudes, and it's full of white people, and they're like, I don't want to go here. You know, what pulls my teeth said you actually have better experience with Southern men as opposed to the men up north. Really, Texas is its own thing, baby. You said there wasn't no, in the bushes behind you. Did you see one? Did you see? There's a one guy that go to my gym that's really good looking, but I'm just like, there's a few guys that go to my gym, but I know they're married. Everybody out here is married. Texas is its own thing here. Like Texas, the men here, I can't vouch for Atlanta. Like Atlanta, I know that in Atlanta you can find men and women everywhere, gay, straight, and otherwise. Gay, straight, bi, you can find them all in Atlanta. Louisiana, people are really friendly in Louisiana. I've been to Louisiana. They're real friendly, nice. The guys are real outgoing and talkative. In Texas, men here, you go to clubs, they with their little friend group, their little clique group, they on their cell phones, they hugging the wall, they are not talking to you. Men down here do not approach women. Again, and I'm not saying this just as me. I'm saying this for other because it's not like I live in a vacuum. I know other single women. My sister-in-law has been single for 4 years. My sister-in-law is white, blonde, skinny, attractive, and men do not approach her. She go work out, she go to the gym, she go to she we me and her we go out to clubs, we go on vacation. When I went on vacation, my sister in law was with me there. Um, we don't. It's not like I'm just sitting at home, y'all, just twiddling my thumbs watching Netflix. I actually do leave the house, and y'all see me when I put my makeup on and my hair on. Y'all know Miss Kiki. I look like a whole nother person. Like I glam out, and dudes do not come up to us and approach us, and we just be sitting there at the bar just chilling. We go to the bar all the time. Me and my sister in law, we go out. We hang out, we do things, and but men don't ever approach us. That's why my sister-in-law, she get on these dating apps and she has the same issues that I do, except she gets a lot of more messages than I do. I don't get a lot of messages, but then again, like I said, um, where I live in Texas, if you're a white woman, you're gonna get a lot of messages because again, where we live at, there are not a lot of black women with white men. There are not a lot of black men with white women where I live. It's just that's just you don't see it. When I go up north to Detroit, you see a lot of mixed couples. The city that I live in, I've only seen like maybe two mixed couples, and it was a white woman with a black man, and that's it. There's black married people who are married to other black people. The white people are married to white people. The Hispanic people with Hispanic people. Where I live in the suburbs, it is very segregated. It is not Dallas. It is not Houston. It is not San Antonio. I don't live in Dallas. I live far, far north of Dallas. So where I live is a small town, a small suburban community. You don't see a lot of diversity here. You know, when my ex used to go around with me in my old neighborhood, he would get looks because my ex had his nose pierced, his lip pierced. He had tattoos all over his sleeve, all over his arms. My ex has tattoos all over his stomach. Like he has tattoos. So when I would invite him to my community pool, people would like stop and stare because you don't see that type of white dude out there like that. You don't see a white dude with lots of tattoos. You don't see a white dude, you know, just with a beard and piercings and you just don't see that out here. You don't see a lot of white dudes with tattoos out here. Period. There's a lot of country dudes. I'm not into country dudes. I don't do country dudes. But when my ex, when we used to go out, like the areas that we would hang out in, Frisco, Melissa, um, uptown, you just don't see that. You just don't see that. You go to Dallas, you see a lot. You can see white boys with tattoos. But my ex, he looked like a thugged out white boy. Like he dresses like a black dude. So when people would see him, they didn't know what to think. They would see him and be like, they would be tripping on it. Then they would see me, and I don't dress like a thug. I don't dress like a kind of a hood rat chicken. No offense to anybody who that's how they dress. I don't have multiple color hair, and I'm not like like I'm not all out like that. So we were kind of like the opposite when people would see us because they would see me and I'll be very classy, and then they would see my ex who looked like he just got out of prison. Which my ex, I tell y'all, my ex did serve time in prison. That was a long time ago though. But just that type is not seen out here. My ex would fit in better, better in Dallas where he lived. Nobody would bat an eye. But coming out here with the kind of car he drove, he had a Volvo that had a system in the back and all that, people would stare. People would be like, he would get put over by the laws all the time coming to my old neighborhood. He would get put over by the laws all the time. They'd be like, where you going? Where you doing? Like they would see him and he was like law magnet. Almost every time he would come, every other time he would come to my house, he get put over by the laws because of what he looked like. Because they be like, "Why are you out in this neighborhood? Why are you in this gated community? Who you coming to see?" Like I had to come and get him one time. I'm like, because I knew the police officers in our gated community and the security, they would pull him over, and I'd be like, "Oh, he's coming here to see me." When I first moved out there, then after a while, they got used to him being out there. But yeah, the security in our gated community be like, "Who you coming to see?" And that is what it is. GSP said, "I've only lived in California. I have made friends, moved to Texas, moved back here to California, and it say it was segregating racist. They can only hang out with people from their own race. We don't do that in California for the most part." Yeah, I know people from California, and they come out here and they hate it. They hate it. They're like, it's weird here. I'm used to living up north where, we had like house clubs where everybody would be there. We had hip hop clubs and house clubs where you would see white, Dominican, Puerto Rican, black. You would see all kinds of people at hip hop clubs in New York. I have friends that live in New York that they come down here and they like, this a hip hop club? Where the white people at? There's no white people in this hip. It was very segregated socially. So I tell people when um everybody moved to Texas, they love it. What part of Texas they living in? They must not be living where I'm living. Well, what part of Texas they living in? I ain't never been to Houston. I love San Antonio. San Antonio is a whole vibe. Austin is a whole vibe. I love Austin. I love San Antonio. Dallas, I do not like. All Texas is not the same. Dallas, like if you're living in Dallas proper, it's much more diverse. Come out to the suburbs where I'm at, uh, Van Alstine, Sherman, come out here. It's more the country, you know. The heat, yeah, the heat is bad. But I mean, it depends on what you live. Like I said, I've never lived in Houston. I've been to Houston a few times, like as a tourist, you know. But San Antonio, I love San Antonio. I've spent me a lot of time. Love the vibe there. Austin, I love the vibe in Austin. Austin is liberal. My city, Austin has a whole vibe to it. Um, but Dallas, Fort Worth area, once you get out to the suburbs, it's very segregated. Like you don't see a lot of us out here. And then when you do see a lot of us, it's few and far in between. And then I don't fit in with Texas down here. I'm not religious. I don't go to church. I'm very liberal. So it's hard for me to be down here and meet somebody because of those things. And I'm not going to compromise who I am. I don't. A lot of people, we're in the Bible Belt, so I understand what I'm up against. Oh, he just bought a house in Austin. That's where I just came from on vacation, is Leander, which is outside of Austin. It's like 30 minutes outside of Austin. I love Austin. Austin's a whole vibe. Austin, the people are much different there. They're not very conservative and country. And Austin is like, living in like a college town. Austin is like, I don't know, like the San Diego of Texas, except smaller. Yeah, Austin is a whole vibe. The people are just different. The people look different. The men look different. It's just different. Houston is just different, from what I've been told. But Dallas is a whole vibe. Dallas is the whole thing. He's hot in the house for me or the divorce. I just found out I'm apparently supporting his girlfriend too. Oh, girl, no, hell no. Yeah, the girlfriend, the new victim. She better watch out. She better watch out. Run, girl, run. Hell yeah. Anybody get with my ex? I guess they must have really low expectations or standards because I don't think my ex is going to find anybody. He might. I mean, my ex usually always finds some chick. We've been broken up before, and he didn't found another chick. And I'm just get amazed at the chicks that. But that's a whole nother topic. You know. Oh yeah, they do. They start out by love bombing you and showering you with attention and affection and all that shit, girl. And then after a while, that goes away. That dies off. I don't need nobody love bombing me either. That's another thing. I don't need nobody that's like, I need consistency. And there's plenty of dudes out there will pay you all this attention and tell you how wonderful you are, and they'll be up your ass 24/7. And then once they got you, then then you don't get none of that special attention or treatment. And so men and women, I tell people they should be themselves up front. I am who I am up front. I don't put a fake front, like a lot of people do. They try to put their best foot forward and hide their flaws. I let all mine hang out, girl. I let all my shit. I let my freak flag fly. Like I will be surly, I will be feisty, I will be moody. If you can put up with that from the beginning, then we good. Cause I soften as time goes on. But I be myself. Like I can only be myself. I'm not gonna fake it or pretend to be something else or do things that I don't normally do. And then once you with somebody, then you be your real person. You switch it up. Nah, stop it. Alexa played Whitney Houston and Deborah Cox, same script, different cast. Hell yeah, like I can't stand that when dudes love bomb you and they do the most. But anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all before I get up off here. There's a dude in Houston that I like. Now he's in Houston, and Houston is 4.5 hours from me. Oh yeah, when we were at that was my old neighborhood when we were on a horse carriage ride at Christmas. They do that every year in my old neighborhood. Now this neighborhood, I don't know what they do. This is our first year here, so that we'll see. But we gonna do a horse carriage ride regardless. Like they do them in another city over. Oh, the person driving the carriage was speaking to you, and you were like a whole. Oh my God! When I'm around my kids, like when I'm talking to y'all, I'm like, girl, da 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 da. But when I'm around my kids, like if they would hear me speak the way I talk with y'all, because I talk with my friends, that that yeah, I remember that video because you was like, who is that talking? And I'm like, GSP, it's me. Because when I'm around my kids, it's like, hello, honeys, how are you today? Yes. Would you like something to eat? Can I help you? Like that's how I talk to my children. My children, they don't know this hood side of me. Like I be talking to y'all like I talk with my homegirls. I'll be like, yeah, girl. Da, da. But when I talk to my kids, it's like, hello, hi kids, how was school today? How are you today? Oh my God, are you feeling okay? Can you please go pick that up? That's how I talk to my kids. Like I don't talk to my kids like I be talking with y'all. Like y'all get the real me. I soften it with my kids because they're my kids. Like if my kid, like I slipped up one time and somebody made me mad and I was on the phone and my kids turned around, they was like, I was like, no, of course not. Like I was on the phone with customer service and they made me mad. And I was like, what do you mean? This payment didn't go through. What you talking about? Da, da, da. My kids was like, Mom? I was like, yes, sir, I did send that payment. I'm surprised you didn't receive it. I'll really check into that. Yeah, the pebbles come out. The tattoo, my kids, they ask because when my kids was little, I used to have my nose pierced, my lip pierced, and they see my tattoo. My kids, if they would knew how I was with y'all, they'd be like, who is this? Who is she? Mom, are you okay? That's what my kids thought. Mom, are you all right? So I'll be telling, just like I did a short when somebody was like, your kids, I was like, my kids don't know I have a YouTube channel. My kids don't listen to rap music. They don't listen to none of that. My kids, I speak to them in hushed tones, and like if I ever get mad at somebody, like my kids, they saw me. My kids seen me mad go off on somebody one time, and my kids was like, they were terrified. Like they had never seen that side of me come out, but somebody really made me angry. I forgot who I was yelling at. I forgot who it was, but I went off on them, and then my kids were like, "Mom, are you okay?" Like my kids, I never really seen the hoods, the pebbles come out, the straight hood tripping gangster from the hood, from straight from the zoo, straight from that D town. Like it's cold up in the D. Like they ain't never heard me talk like that. It do. I'm mom around. I am so mother every day. I'm like, kids, like, what are we doing today? Kid, like, you'll hear me on my videos talking about children. I'll be like, oh, what are you doing? Like, you see my vacation videos. Like, the way I talk to them is it's like I morph into a whole nother person because they're my kids. They're not used to like people talking to them a certain way. They and I don't want them ever to feel like it's okay. And I tell my kids, nobody should disrespect you or talk to you like you're a dog, or demean you. I wasn't raised like that. I was raised by a grandmother that's from Mississippi, and she will get Mississippi on your ass in a minute. All the religion will drop with my grandmother, and she'll go after you if you go after her kids. Um, but other than that, my grandmother would talk to me in hushed tones, and my kids are always sweetie, baby, honey. My son is 13 years old, and I call him honey. I'll be like, honey, could you do this? Honey, could you do like people hear me talking to my kids? Who you talking to? I'm talking to my son. My kids are adorable. Thank you. My kids are really good kids. My kids are on the honor roll. My kids are talented and gifted. My kids are really smart. Really have been well behaved. Never cause me any trouble. Their rooms are neat and clean because they know their mama don't play that. And the joy that I have in my children is the joy that I will take forever with me. Um, the joy that I have for my children is the peace of my husband. When my husband left this earth, my husband was very, very, very left this earth well rested that he had picked the right woman to take care of uh to take care of these kids. My husband never worried. He never once had any issues. He knew he's like, you're a good mother. My husband was like, my wife is the best mom. She's the best wife. I did everything I could, to keep my husband alive, and he died. Rest assured, and that he had every confidence that he left my kids in good hands. That I would always put my kids first, and I've always put my kids first. People are talking about when I did that short about me being in a 5 year relationship and that man wasn't around my children. It's because I wasn't sure that this man was going to be the man that I was going to be with for the rest of my life. And if I'm not sure you're not the person I want to be for the rest of my life, I will fuck with you. But it don't mean you're going to be around my children. My children are not. I'm not to the point where I have an ex somewhere for my kids to go visit, or they know that they have a dad somewhere, that even if my relationship do mess up, that it would be hurtful. But then they know they still have a dad. When your kids don't have another parent alive, it's a whole nother ball game when you talk about dating and introducing somebody to your kids. I don't know about anybody else, but it gives me a huge pause knowing that if this person walks out of my life and my kids' life, it is going to devastate them, because them losing and never having a father, and don't have a father out there somewhere in the ether, um it is very sobering to them to know that they don't really have a dad, that their dad is dead. So they don't have a backup parent or a backup father figure in their lives to go to, just in case my time with whatever boyfriend or whoever I want to fuck around with and date, if that person's gone and they're going all their life, it is a whole nother ballgame. That person's gone. And then they're like really tripping. They would really trip on that. So I'm happy that whoever I date, I keep them away from my kids, because I'm a widow, because I understand the gravity of loss. My kids are now lost. Let me tell y'all, I have lost my dad. I have lost my mom. I've lost, not in order, I've lost my husband. I've lost one of my kids' grandmothers to cancer. All of this has happened in my kids' lifetime. So do you think my kids know loss? Hell yeah, damn right they know loss. Do you think I want to subject my kids to losing somebody else? Hell no, I don't. So I tread lightly bringing any kind of man, or eggplant around my child, because I understand the gravity of loss that we have all felt. It is profound that I trip out every day that I'm still sane and I've lost this many people. And I lost my kitty. Yeah, I lost my cat. And it's just like, my kids lost my cat. I had to put my cat to sleep. My kids cried and cried for days. That's the cat that my late husband gave me. I cried for days. Then I lost my mom in April. I still miss my mother. They still miss my mom. This is our first holidays without my mother. When my daughter was a year old, um, they lost their grandmother. Like, I tell people, you crazy. You think I want the guilt of subjecting my kids to losing somebody else in their life? I've lost enough. It was hard for me to deal with losing my relationship. It was hard enough for me to deal with it, much less um having to live through that with my children. Me and my ex broke up. My kids is okay. They okay because he's not a father figure. He's not around them, and I did that on purpose because I understand what it feels like to have your kids cry and hurt, and it's the worst feeling I've ever felt in my life. I never want to see that, and my kids have experienced it over and over. Me and my kids have experienced it over and over and over again. Too much, and thank God they didn't know my dad, and I didn't even know my dad, so that was hurtful, but wasn't it was shocking because it was so sudden, but it was hurtful. But me losing my mom and my husband and my cat, And my kid's grandmother, I, I'm that's enough for me. And that has shaped how I date and how I move with my kids and how I severely protect myself and my privacy. I went to grief counseling. I've been after me and my ex broke up. I went into relationship counseling. This whole summer I spent in counseling, trying to deal with the loss of my mom, my relationship, my cat, and then whenever I lose somebody in a relationship, it brings up feelings of loss about my husband because y'all, my husband was a phenomenal person. He was my best friend, and so whenever you lose somebody, being a widow, whenever your relationship ends, it kind of brings up those feelings of grief all over again, and you feel like it's unfair. You feel like, why me? Why me? Why do I have to be stuck having to date these fucking dudes and dealing with, can I see a picture of your booty? You're like, why do I have to deal with this? So getting back out there and dating, I had to really make sure that I was mentally and emotionally ready to get back out there and to date. And some days I feel like, yeah, I'm ready. And then some other days I just feel like, why am I even subjecting myself to this shit? I do. I just feel like, why am I even putting myself through this? Because I just feel like there's just so much bullshit online. There's just so much. I just feel like I should just go be single and just forget it and just I went on 3 dates. Let's see, one, two. I went on 4 dates in the past couple of months, which I guess is better track record than I had. And none of them have panned out or worked out or whatever. And like I said, I don't know. Like I said, the only dude I talk to that I really like is this dude in Houston, and we shall see. And I'll report back and let y'all know. Um, my expectations is low. My optimism is low because I don't know what Houston is 4 hours away from me, and it's not that big a deal, but then it kind of is. So I don't know. I don't know. He seems very interested, and even when he was on his trip out of the country and he had no cell service, he still was text messaging me and messaging me while he was out of the country. So he's supposed to come back today. So hopefully we can get this started and we can actually see each other. And I'm attracted to him, and he's a lawyer, girl. 4 hours, yeah, 4 hours away. Yeah, 4 hours. But he's young. He doesn't have any kids. So if push come to shove, he could move here. You know, it could work. It could work. With some planning, it could work. I do have my sister-in-law to watch my children. She lives about 10 minutes away. So it could work. Like I could easily spend a weekend. I could tell my kids I'm going away for work, and I could easily go, cuz I got a lot of my kids about where I'm going. But I could easily, it we could make it work. But eventually I would assume that he would have to move here. You kind of like the distance. I don't like if I could see him, once every other week, that would work for me. But we would have to be communicating, it would have to be planned. Yeah, he wouldn't just show up. Like it would be something that would have to be planned. But you know, it, anything can really work if you put effort into it. Like I'm against long distance relationships, like out of state. Like I don't talk to, because to me that's just too much distance. But Austin or San Antonio or Houston, I can kind of do. But eventually one of us would have to move, and I can't move because my kids are here. So like I said, if I would date somebody long distance, but it have to be somebody who didn't have children or didn't have young children. Now, if you have adult children and you don't want to leave your children, I get it. I respect that. But for a man who doesn't have kids, I mean, and he was telling me, I don't have any children. So he's a lawyer. He could practice law anywhere. He could practice law in Dallas. He could practice law in Fort Worth. He could move ideally closer here if push come to shove. But like I said, I just met this dude. So I've only been talking to him for like the past 3 weeks. Like I said, he the past week and a half he's been in another country. So then, like I said, we've talked sporadically during the vacation. So we are just starting on our journey of us talking, and it's not even we haven't even met yet. But we do plan to resume our talking and work out when we're going to meet, where we're going to meet, how we're going to meet, most likely he would come here. And he travels a lot. So he travels a lot, not for work, but for pleasure. Like he's been to Canada, he's been to Michigan, he's been to California, he went to Prague in Germany, he's been to France. So he's used to traveling a lot, like I said, he doesn't have any kids. So him and his friends, they go on these hiking excursions and stuff like that. So it's not like he's telling me it's not like he's not used to traveling. And so he's cool. I like him. He's cool. Like he's my kind of dude. He's kind of nerdy and he's intelligent and he has a law degree and he's young. And I told him, I was like, well, do you want kids? Cause I ain't having no more children. Y'all know Miss Kiki ain't having no more kids. What kind of law? Medical. Medical. He does like medical malpractice suits and stuff like that. So that kind of law, medical malpractice law. And so um for him, he could ideally, up and move because he has the flexibility to do that. So, I just, like I said, we're not even nowhere near that. We would have to meet first and spend some time together and see how this goes. But it's about, long distance is hard, but it's about keeping consistent about communication. And it's not for everybody. Like everybody can't do that because like with me, if we're not seeing each other frequently, then we need to be talking frequently in order to keep interest going. I mean, that's just natural. And some people don't really have those kind of requirements, I guess. But for me, it's like I will lose interest if I barely hear from you and then I barely see you, then there's nothing there. There's nothing to keep the chemistry and keep the momentum going. It's about momentum. That's the word I'm looking for. It's about keeping the momentum going. And so, if you don't have that, then if you don't have momentum and communication and you got to stoke the fires, if you don't have that, then I lose interest. Most people do. So that's why a lot of people long distance don't work for them, Besides the trust issues and the lack of intimacy, but 4 hours is not really that bad. Um, my ex, when he would used to be away working, and he would be in College Station, he would be in Austin. I would drive to Lubbock. I would drive to go see him. A lot of times and then because he was working in those places, so I would drive to go see him. So, but then again, my mom was alive then, so I was able to take off on the weekends, and I think the electricity is back on. I got to go home and see him electricity. But I was able to drive and I had more freedom because my mother was able to watch my children. Um, so yeah, my ex used to be away a lot. He worked in different places all over Texas, and I would just drive to go see him. And so it's doable. It can happen. I mean, it's doable. But the first time we see each other, I told him he would have to come here, and then I could schedule some time away or whatever. But we'll see. I'll report back to y'all and just tell you how it goes. But I gotta go. I think my electricity is back on, y'all. I see people going into the gym, and I already did my walking, so I don't know. But anyway, y'all have a good day. It's GSP, Bobby, everybody else who came here maybe didn't say anything. What pulls my teeth? It's been good talking to y'all. Y'all help pass the time until while I'm sitting here trying to in the heat in my car trying to get warm over looking like Nanook of the North. Look at me. Looking like Nanook of the North over here in my puffy jacket and getting my walk on. So y'all have a wonderful day, and I'm gonna try to go back home, make sure my kitty's okay, make sure my leopard geckos are okay. And like I said, I see people coming to the gym, so the electricity must be back on. So I appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe. Hello to all my new subscribers. Shout out to y'all. Anyway, bye.